It is direct inquiry which illumines the tranquility of the true self. We regard ourselves as sentient beings. We are sentient in contrast to a rock, say, which we describe as insentient. What does this mean? It means that we're aware. We have awareness. We're aware of our environment. This is true, otherwise we wouldn't be able to walk around, we wouldn't be able to talk to people. We are aware. But most of the time, this awareness is on automatic. We are not aware that we are aware. It isn't necessary to be aware that we are aware in order to carry out our everyday duties and responsibilities and to follow our inclinations. Spirituality, yoga, is about developing awareness of awareness. I'm not going to justify that or go into that. That's what it is. I'm not going to go into the whys and wherefores of it. Either you see the value of that for yourself, in which case you're interested, or you're not interested. So how do we go about developing awareness of awareness? How do we develop appreciation of this awareness? We do that by considering. We do this by inquiry. Inquiry into the nature of who we are, who I am. Inquiry into the nature of this apparent external world. Inquiry into the relationship between me here and this apparent external world out there. This is inquiry. And Sutra 44 mentioned a distinction between direct inquiry and indirect inquiry, or discursive inquiry. Inquiry is something we can think about. We can think about who we are. We can think about the world. We can think about our relationship with the world. This is a way of distancing ourselves, of removing ourselves from that automatic quality that most of us seem to possess. It's a way of waking ourselves up. It's a way of distancing ourselves from the smaller picture and opening ourselves up to the bigger picture, to the big picture. So what's direct inquiry? Direct inquiry is realization. It's direct realization. It's direct realization of who I am, of the nature of the world, and of my relationship with the world. This is direct inquiry. This is sometimes known as insight. This is union. This is yoga. This is samadhi. This is what we want to encourage, and this is what spiritual or enlightenment practice is about. And as Sutra 47 says, it is direct inquiry which illumines the tranquility of the true self. And I've spelled self here with a capital S, because it isn't subject to discursive inquiry. It's ineffable. It's direct realization. And it's a realization which goes beyond any distinction between me here and the world out there. That distinction is no longer valid. And Sutra 47 describes this realization, the practice of direct inquiry, as tranquil. It illumines the tranquility of the true self. So here's a reason for pursuing spiritual inquiry, for pursuing enhanced awareness. It brings tranquility, or it brings access to tranquility, because, as Sutra 48 says, such insight brings the deepest harmony. We are operating from an integrated basis. We're not operating from a fragmented basis. We're not operating from a neurotic basis or one based on self-interest. Everything has fallen into place. We're in intimate terms with the heart of existence, the heart of being. It's a state of integration. This insight is actually wisdom. We're operating from the correct intuitive basis because we're not operating from a mistaken idea, notion or belief. We're actually operating how we should operate. There is now no tension between ourselves and existence. This is tranquility. This is the deepest harmony. Sutra 49. It reveals the fundamental order of things, and as such is quite distinct from the usual understanding and reasoning. In other words, we're not taking our cue from cognitive understanding. We're not taking our cue from our beliefs, our culture, our education. We're not taking our cue from logic, from arguments, from discussions, from inferences, from deductions, from suppositions, from notions, whether these notions are commendable or not, because we are in touch at this point with the fundamental order of things. There is nothing beyond this. We found what there is to be found. We've realized what there is to be realized. And it's at this point that such statements as "it is as it is" become profoundly significant. Our prime task then is to keep coming back to this insight. Sutra 50 says the inclination, and this inclination to practice direct inquiry, dissolves the grip of all other inclinations. Now, inclination sounds like a fairly benign term, but what we're really talking about here is our moods. Our moods are our tendencies, our basic tendencies. Our moods are what colour our reality. Our moods are what obscure samadhi. Our moods are an indication that we are not in samadhi and that we should be alert to this situation. And the more that we can practice direct inquiry, the more that we can become established in insight or wisdom, the more the tranquility of this insight and the harmonious integration of this insight can take a hold and undermine the grip of our moods, the grip of our mood patterns. Hand in hand with the dissolution of all inclinations is causeless samadhi. So once the pattern of our moods loses its grip, then we are more likely to become established in samadhi. And samadhi here is described as causeless, or seedless, without seed. Sutra 46 talked about the seed of samadhi. And some people are very keen to distinguish different types of samadhi. There's samadhi with seed and samadhi without seed. There's only seedless samadhi. What this means is samadhi is something which is not dependent on conditions. Samadhi is the essential reality. But in order to realize that, we practice inquiry, we practice yoga. Yoga is the seed of samadhi in that it reminds us to remember ourselves. So samadhi with seed, this is one of these didactic categorizations which people can get hung up on, is simply the effort required to come back to realization, to samadhi. But samadhi is that pure, tranquil, integrated, harmonious state, which is at the heart of the answer to all questions to do with who am I, what is this world, and what is our relationship with it.